नमस्ते बच्चों, वेलकम। आज हम डाइव करने जा रहे हैं वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट चैप्टर्स फॉर योर एग्जाम्स, ह्यूमन रिप्रोडक्शन। ट्रस्ट मी, इस सेशन के बाद आपका हर एक कॉन्सेप्ट एकदम क्रिस्टल क्लियर हो जाएगा और एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन देखते ही आप कॉन्फिडेंस से आंसर कर पाओगे। तो आर यू रेडी? चलिए शुरू करते हैं।
Okay, so first things first, why is this chapter so crucial? देखो, हर साल NEET में you can expect 3 to 4 questions. That's a solid 12 to 16 marks coming directly from here. ये chapter अकेले आपकी rank में एक huge difference ला सकता है. So, I want your complete focus. Let's lock in these marks together. So here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover these 6 major topics step by step, exactly in the flow of your NCERT textbook. We'll start with the basics and build our way up.
ऑल राइट, फर्स्ट अप द मेल रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम। देखो, जैसे कोई भी बिल्डिंग बनाने के लिए उसकी फाउंडेशन स्ट्रांग होनी चाहिए, बिल्कुल वैसे ही रिप्रोडक्शन को समझने के लिए वी नीड टू गेट द बेसिक्स ऑफ द मेल सिस्टम राइट।
Okay, look at this diagram. Now, the first and most frequently asked question is, why are the testes located outside the abdominal cavity in the scrotum? Socho? Well, the reason is all about temperature control. Spermatogenesis, that's just a fancy word for sperm formation, needs a temperature that is 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius lower than our normal body temperature, and the scrotum provides that perfect cooler environment. Is point ko star mark kar lo, it's a very important one for your exams. Now, let's zoom inside the testis. It's like a factory, okay? The main production units are the seminiferous tubules. Yahin par sperms bante hain. Now, inside these tubules, there are 2 types of superhero cells. First, we have Sertoli cells, which are like the chefs. They provide nutrition to the developing sperm cells. Then, just outside the tubules, we have Leydig cells, which produce the all-important male hormone testosterone. और जब sperms बन जाते हैं, they go to the epididymis for maturation and storage. Simple, right? Sertoli for nutrition, Leydig's for testosterone.
Okay, exam hack time. A very common question is tracing the path of the sperm. इसके लिए एक fantastic mnemonic है, CVNUP. Just remember the soft ring. S is for seminiferous tubules, where they are made. E for epididymis, for storage. V for vas deferens, the transport tube. E for ejaculatory duct. You can just ignore the N. And UP for urethra and penis, the final exit route. CVNUP. इस sequence को बिल्कुल मत भूलना. It's a lifesaver for sequence-based questions.
All right, let's switch gears now and talk about the female reproductive system. Now, ये थोड़ा और complex है. I agree, but tension mat lo. We'll break it down so it becomes super easy to understand.
So, in the female system, the primary sex organs are the pair of ovaries. They produce the ovum or the egg. Now, what happens when an egg is released? देखो, ये finger-like projections है ना, the fimbriae? They kind of catch the egg and guide it into the fallopian tube. From the fallopian tube, the egg travels to the uterus. So what's the path again? Ovary to the fimbriae, into the fallopian tube, and finally to the uterus. Got it?
Now, the wall of the uterus is fascinating. It has 3 distinct layers. The outermost is the perimetrium, for protection. The middle layer is the myometrium. Myo means muscle, so this is a thick, muscular layer that causes those strong contractions during childbirth. And the innermost layer, this is the star of the show, the endometrium. Yahi wo bed hai jo har mahine pregnancy ke liye prepare hota hai. Aur agar pregnancy nahi hoti, to yahi layer shed ho jati hai during the menstrual flow. Okay, now we are getting to the absolute core of this chapter, the process of making gametes, or gametogenesis. इसको ऐसे समझो जैसे एक क्रिकेट टीम मैच से पहले प्रैक्टिस करती है ना, वैसे ही for reproduction to happen, the body first has to prepare the players, the sperm and the ovum. So let's start with spermatogenesis. This process begins at puberty. It starts with a diploid cell called spermatogonia. After going through meiosis, one single primary spermatocyte ultimately produces 4 equal haploid spermatids. And then, these spermatids transform and mature into what we know as sperms. So just remember the flow. From one cell, you get 4 functional sperms. Now, oogenesis is a very different story. First of all, ये process female के birth से पहले ही fetal life में शुरू हो जाता है, but then it gets paused, arrested in prophase 1 until puberty. Second, the division here is unequal. You get one large secondary oocyte and a tiny little polar body.
And here's the most fascinating part. Meiosis II only gets completed if and when a sperm enters the oocyte. Isn't that amazing? बच्चों, this table is pure gold for your exams. इससे direct MCQs बनते हैं. So let's quickly revise the key differences. Spermatogenesis starts at puberty. Oogenesis starts in the embryonic stage. Spermatogenesis has equal division. Oogenesis has unequal division. Spermatogenesis gives 4 sperms. Oogenesis gives only 1 ovum. And finally, spermatogenesis continues for a long time while oogenesis stops at menopause. ये 4 points बिल्कुल fit कर लो अपने दिमाग में.
All right, next up is a super important topic, one that's asked about a lot in exams, the menstrual cycle. It's not just important for biology, but also, as NCERT points out, for understanding menstrual hygiene, which is crucial for everyone to know. So, a typical cycle is about 28 days long and has 4 main phases. It starts with the menstrual phase, from day 1 to 5, which is when the bleeding occurs. Then comes the follicular phase, where a follicle inside the ovary starts growing. Then, the main event on day 14. A sharp spike in LH hormone, called the LH surge, triggers ovulation. And finally, we have the luteal phase, where the body prepares the uterus for a potential pregnancy.
Hormone से confusion हो रहा है? No problem. Here's another super shortcut. Look at the names. FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. इसका काम इसके नाम में ही है. It stimulates follicle growth. Easy. And what about the LH surge? Just remember L for launch. The peak of LH launches the egg from the ovary. That's ovulation. Simple and effective. Now, your NCERT book brings up a very important social issue. In our society, a woman is often blamed if she gives birth to a daughter. But scientifically, this is completely wrong. Kyun? Because a female has 2 X chromosomes, so she can only pass on an X chromosome. A male, however, has both an X and a Y chromosome, so his sperm can carry either an X or a Y. So it's the sperm that decides the sex of the baby. Scientifically, it's the father who determines the sex of the child.
So what happens if fertilization does occur around the time of ovulation? Well, that's when this incredible 9-month journey of pregnancy begins. After all the preparation of gametes and the cycle, this is the main event. So fertilization happens in a specific part of the fallopian tube called the ampulla, and this forms the zygote. The zygote then starts dividing into 2 cells, then 4, then 8, then 16. This 8 to 16 cell stage is called the morula. The morula then develops into a blastocyst, and it's this blastocyst that finally implants into the uterine wall. Now, students often forget this order, so here's a mnemonic, ZMB. Just remember, Zar Muskarao Biology Wallone, zygote, morula, blastocyst. After implantation, the placenta develops. The placenta is the amazing connection between the mother and the baby. You can think of it like a tiffin service. It delivers all the nutrients and oxygen to the baby and takes away the waste products. But that's not all. It also acts as an endocrine gland, producing special pregnancy hormones like HCG, this is the hormone detected in pregnancy tests, HPL, and relaxin. And here we are, at the final stop of this incredible journey, the delivery of the baby, also known as parturition. After this, we'll do a super quick revision to make sure everything is locked in your mind. So how does childbirth begin? Well, after 9 months, the fully developed fetus and the placenta send signals that start mild uterine contractions. This is called the fetal ejection reflex. This reflex triggers the mother's pituitary gland to release a hormone called oxytocin. Oxytocin makes the contractions stronger, which in turn triggers the release of more oxytocin, which makes the contractions even stronger. It's a classic positive feedback loop that continues until the baby is born. Okay, get ready for a rapid-fire revision. Let's go. What's the site of fertilization? The ampullary region. What stage gets implanted? The blastocyst. What causes ovulation? The LH surge. Who determines the sex of the baby? The male gamete. What does the corpus luteum secrete? Progesterone. And why is the first milk, colostrum, so important? Because it's rich in antibodies. Excellent work. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into human reproduction. I really hope every concept is now clear to you. अगर आपको ये explainer पसंद आया, तो please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more helpful content like this. All the very best for your exams. And just think about it, this entire complex, beautiful process of creating a new life all starts from just a single cell. Truly amazing, isn't it?